Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Off the Rails. I am your host, Austin Train. Joining me as always, best friend, professional musician, co-host, and the wind beneath my wings, Brian Gower. We are taped in front of a live studio audience here at the Joe Biden White House, or depending on when this podcast is released, the Kamala Harris White House, where me and Brian have just got jobs on the cabinet. What happened is we were walking down the street. I saw Dr. Jill Biden with her daughter. I go, ooh, what are you guys, sisters? And then Dr. Jill says, you know what? I could use a man like you. And I said, can you give my friend Brian a job as well? She said, of course. And so now I am the new Secretary of State for the Joe Biden White House. And Brian is Commander Biden's dog walker. And he is deeply scarred physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Of course, when I replaced Anthony Blinken as the Secretary of State, I walked up to him. I don't know if you knew this, Brian. Anthony Blinken likes to play guitar.
There you go.
So he went to Poland or some shit and was playing Rockin' in the Free World.
Yeah.
And I took his guitar and I smashed him over the head with it. And I said, I'm the Secretary of State now, bitch. And then I said, get ready for a new sound. And then I introduced everyone at the White House to hip hop. Yeah. And I took credit for it. I said, you know what? A lot of people say that I didn't make this, but actually I did. And now I'm the Secretary of State and the godfather of hip hop, at least in the eyes of Joe Biden's White House. We have been doing crack cocaine with Hunter Biden. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I stopped doing cocaine, but caveat, if Hunter offers me, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. Dude, me and Hunter and 100 sex workers.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good Tuesday night, my friend. You thought you were going to escape politics? Oh, you better think again, guys. How are we doing, Brian?
Doing all right. Pre-show here, had a fucking meltdown.
Brian's meltdowns are so mild compared to my Dude, Brian couldn't find the SD card.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm losing my temper. And I was like, Brian, you've seen me lose my temper.
On the show.
On the show. Dude, or just every day.
Yeah.
Dude, you should see me when I used to play a lot of video games, dude. I would scream. I was like, you fucking...
like it was personal.
Yeah, I was like, you fucking bastard.
Yeah.
I will hunt the game developers' families down, dude.
Yeah.
I will take everything you love away from you because I can't beat this water level.
Yeah. So it's just on the Zoom recorder here. It just says, no SD card. I'm like, I just had that fucking thing last night. And I only keep my shit like in two places. Anyways. And then,
oh, sorry.
Yeah. And then I'm like looking, and I'm like, okay. And then something fucked up with the Zoom, and then did the IT crowd turn it on and off again? Didn't work. It's still not working. Turn it on and off again.
Well, here's the thing. I suggested blow into the thing.
Yeah.
And then it worked.
And now it's working.
Then it worked. So you know what? Fucking everything I know, I need to know. I learned skipping kindergarten and playing Super Nintendo.
Yeah, there you go. When Super Mario World was funky, you just blow into the cartridge. And then
and then
They said that doesn't work. I'm like,
it actually does.
It fucking does.
Apparently, it's not the blowing the dust out. What it is your spit, little saliva gets in there, and it helps it stick in better.
Just spitting on it.
Yeah, so that's that's why if we have another technical problem, we bring in the Haktua girl.
Yeah, just spitting on the cameras.
Just
and shit.
spitting on that camera. Brian, do you like it when a woman a woman gives you the old Haktua? I know this is old by now, but I don't like it. I think it's rude. It's like, did you ask if you could spit on my penis? Also, isn't your mouth where spit comes from? Why are we?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had her like chick like spit on it. It's just like it's already in your mouth. Yeah,
that's where saliva comes from.
Yeah.
If anything, you're robbing your mouth of saliva.
Yeah.
And also, I just think it's bad etiquette. It's like, you didn't ask me if you could do this first. You just decided.
Yeah.
You're like, is something wrong with my penis? You're like, I spit on this penis.
Yeah. Just disrespected my penis.
Yeah.
Like
are you disrespecting my penis, dude? But it might have been a ghost that caused the malfunction. The ghost of democracy.
Yeah. Oh. Can't let this pod get out, man.
This pod, dude, the CIA is going to try to cancel us, dude. We're slowly changing the world 100 listeners at a time.
Yeah, there you go. But how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm actually doing pretty good. I had a good 4th of July. Not going to get into specifics, but I spent some time with a very beautiful woman. And, no longer misogynistic. No. No. Dude, now I'm a big time feminist, dude. I started reading all the Joan Didion books.
Yeah.
But no, it's very nice. It was very nice. She wanted to listen to my podcast, and I was like, oh, well, well, let me suggest some for you. Let me cultivate this feed.
Because you don't listen to them after we record
Sometimes
them.
I do.
Okay.
I just, dude, the way my voice, I've gone back and forth on listening to my own voice, but I have like imposter syndrome. But at the same time, I realize that there's so many imposters around me, but it's still difficult for me to kind of listen to my own voice.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do to both podcasts that I'm on. Like, to edit, I listen in real time. Just to cut out anything. If there's like any, breaks or whatever, I try not to have too many of them in Tone Jerks or this one. And then if there's any like weird like those reverse burps, like
oh yeah, the swallow, dude. I swallow burps. It's awful. It's like a hiccup burp.
Yeah,
it's like, what's going on with my body?
Usually you get that way, like having a couple pops or whatever. And then
a couple pops.
Go barley pops.
Give me a couple of Coca-Colas from the icebox.
But yeah, so I mean, I do hear it, and I guess I've gotten used to my voice.
Yeah,
I've always thought I had a higher pitched voice than I do, but that's
really,
because some people some people never hear themselves.
You have a pretty deep voice. My voice is not as deep when I listen to it, and it bothers me. My voice is like not as deep, and it's slower.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, this guy sounds. Guy sounds like he used to play like high school football in Tennessee before they had like actual helmets.
Yeah, sometimes I know my laughter can get the higher register. I don't know
oh yeah, I have a dude when I get really giggly.
Yeah,
it gets really high pitched. Yeah, and it's like, oh, people think I'm the joke.
Yeah, sometimes when you're like really getting a good laugh in,
getting a good giggle.
But we had a buddy, or still buddies with him, but in high school, like I don't know what he had this thing about like having a low voice. I'm like, we all kind of like puberty, and then so I'm like, but he would like really lean into it, like, hey everybody, I'm like, yes, present. I'm like, your voice doesn't sound like that. People are like, Jesus Christ, like you're putting on airs that you're like, I have a low voice. I'm like, what's that gonna get you?
I know, I remember, because sometimes your voice does that on its own.
Yeah.
So there's something apparently about if you're talking to somebody who you think is like physically stronger than you, your voice will go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you're talking to somebody, smaller than you, your voice will go down. But also when you're talking to the opposite sex, your voice will modulate itself. And I noticed when I was a teenager, I went up to go try to talk to these girls, and my voice just went lower. And it almost like I was like it was lower, but I was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, wait, I didn't try to do that. It just, my voice naturally did that. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it almost like I was hearing myself, and I lost my confidence because I was like, what's going on, dude? Am I being possessed right now?
Can't control my voice.
No, but it does that on its own.
Yeah.
Or like when I used to work over the phone, like, I mean, we talked about it in the last episode, or one of the last episodes, your customer voice is very different.
Yeah.
And it's just not even a thing you consciously think of. It just kind of like you go into that mode. But it works with dogs.
All right.
If you have a deeper voice, works with dogs pretty well.
Always do like the baby voice, like, ooh, little baby,
ooh, little doggy, who's your dog?
Yeah,
I always say like, who's your dog? And it's like, yeah, of course he's a dog. Like, what do you do? You just being a dog?
Yeah,
you dogging it up.
I had like a coworker who really like had this staunch opinion on like when people say like, oh, my fur baby, or da 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 da, and he was like, that's not your baby. Did that come out of you? But da da da, having like dogs and cats, you can like them, but they're not your babies.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I think I've always called my dog, oh, he's the little baby. Like he was like 11, 12 years old. I'm like, he's an adult dog.
Oh, I always call them the poopers, like the puppers, the pup. I always call cats kitties.
Yeah.
I don't care how old they are. They're a little kitty. But also I don't like fur baby. Like just like fur baby sounds so gross.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got like it sounds like you slept with a werewolf on spring break.
And you have a little wolf baby.
And you're like, oh, and then like I don't know how long does it take for dogs to give like 2 months later? Got a little fur baby.
Yeah.
It's like just
but
I don't like fur baby. I don't know. Hair baby also bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I call him a baby, but I'm not like my baby, right? To other people, you're not like, oh, it's my baby.
I think it's been like my family just like, it's the baby. And it's like it got to a point where it's like, oh, it was like my sister who has children. And then we're at my, like family kind of get together. And then it's like, oh, it's the baby. And then like even the kids are like, oh, not me. You're referring to the cat.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a child, but you're referring to an animal as a baby. It's like, he's like, yeah, it's the baby.
You've been usurped as the cutest thing at this family gathering.
And then even like my dad, he's like, he's a man. He's a man.
He's a man.
And he's like, oh, it's a little baby for the dog. But anyway, so like the coworker I mentioned had a problem with that until he got a dog. He got a puppy. He's like, oh, it's my baby. And I'm like, bro, you can have a staunch opinion and then like high horse until you actually probably never had a dog. And then now he's
never
like,
had a. You don't think you ever had a dog?
I don't think so. He's like, oh, and then now he has one, and he's like, I'm like not gonna call him out because it's like, what's the point? I just think that was so funny. Be like, oh, that's not a dog. Dog's not a baby. And now he's like, oh, it's my little baby. And I'm like,
yeah, immediate 360 or 180.
180 completely changed.
Yeah. Until his dog betrays him, and then it's a 360.
And then it's a little shit,
dude. His dog.
Just go to the bathroom, you little shit.
His dog turns him into the authorities. For un-American activities.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've done that before, like where you 180 on something completely.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I just dig in my heel. Like I have an Android and everyone always gets mad at you. And I'm like, look, fuck you.
These goddamn green bubbles, bro.
It's like, look, so you're doing the company's bidding. So you're basically their marketing department. Yeah. Is you shaming people for having a phone.
Yeah.
And I've tried to use iPhones. I don't really like them. I know I could probably get used to it, but at this point, I'm just like, I'm just kind of being reactionary.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm gonna keep having this phone because you're trying to shame me, and you're basically telling me you're better because you bought a different product.
Yeah.
And now it's a principle thing. Now I'm dug in. I'm at the beaches in Normandy, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I wouldn't be dug in there. Yeah, that's the wrong side.
I just got it.
Whoops. No, let me rephrase this.
I'm the gunner.
I'm going to save it. No, I'm the samurai when fucking Genghis Khan tried to come through on Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's slightly better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes like just with product things. I'm like, I don't know. I think we talked about it before too. It's like you're not. Oh, I'm an Apple guy. I'm like, I just know. You have a MacBook.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn a different. Like,
I think I might get a new laptop. I might get a MacBook because you can just edit straight up off it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. iMovie.
Will it? If I plug in my Android to it, will it be like? You're like lame.
It's just like
it just starts throwing shade at you.
You couldn't afford an iPhone, bro.
Yeah.
A message pops up like, what the fuck?
Some of the Androids are more expensive than the iPhones.
Yeah, I mean, I do have like I think.
I'll be thinking.
If you're more of a computer nerd or know more about software and all that shit like that, you're gonna be a Windows guy, PC. And then
that's why I originally got my cousin was a Windows guy. He was a big computer guy.
Yeah.
And so he was like, he got me a free phone. He was also really good at deals. He just like walked me into Fry's. They were doing a free phone giveaway with a contract.
Okay.
Got a very expensive phone for nothing and just the contract that you would have had to have anyways. And it was a Motorola. And dude, I had this phone for like 5 years. I had a smartphone for 5 years. That's how long I want to have phones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why. I mean, and I'm not a computer guy, and I've gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I just looked at my computer. And I was like, "Oh, you mean the pornography machine?"
Yeah.
the machine that brings me
Joy.
It's my cyber baby.
Yeah. I love this thing. It's just covered in cum. You distribute on it and just whatever, close it up.
Well, that's why anytime somebody's like, "Hey, take a look," like if you ever want to use someone's laptop, I'm like, I don't want to do that. And people are thinking about it, like, why not? I was like, well, what do you use laptops for? You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Strictly
getting
phone.
some friendly fire.
Yeah. The phone.
You're strictly phone now?
Yeah. Because I now bought that 2017 MacBook Pro. I'm like, I don't want to risk anything for that because that was a fucking expensive computer, which sucks because it's now like 7 years old.
Yeah.
Which that's great for a computer the last 7 years. I haven't updated OS for a little while. Anyways, and then my phone, I think I got it it's an iPhone 11. So like 4 or 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because I don't have a need to upgrade. And everything on that's fine. It's like, because shit moves so fast and it's like, oh, a new MacBook Pro would be better. But like, I'm like, this is fucking fine.
Yeah.
I can do everything I need audio wise, video wise. I had mentioned like, oh, I thought the computer was a problem editing. It was me because I just didn't know what I was doing. And then it's fine. But they keep pushing all this shit. Like, oh, you're going to have to upgrade. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, cool. Spend $2,500 on a fucking computer.
Well, speaking of that, so this is every company goes like completely online, and like I used to work phones, and so I was like, all right, I walk people through things. But also government agencies are now online, and we had the gardener for the neighborhood. He's a permanent resident, right? Yeah. So he has a green card. He's not technically a citizen, but he's a permanent resident.
Yeah.
And he is in his 70s.
Yeah.
And he has to renew his green card.
Yeah.
And it's all online.
Yeah.
And my grandma asked our neighbor or the neighbor who's also old, like, hey, can you help us? And then like I'm just watching them try to figure this out, and I just grab it. I'm like, just fucking go home. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, let me just handle it. Let me just handle this.
He said it like it's just
no. I'm watching it, and it's literally like, just let me do it, right? Like it's like when you're a kid and they ask you to do the dishes and you do them so poorly that they just
water everywhere.
Yeah, that they just kick you out. Like that's literally what I'm watching them do. I'm like, just give me just give it to me.
Just let me do it.
Just get out of here.
Well, I was just at CVS earlier. Humble brag. And, running some errands, and then there was a line of 6 people for the one checkout person.
Yeah.
They happen to be older people. It's like 11 a.m. That's like out and about, like the whole fucking
that's peak old.
Claremont Square is bumping with Buicks, and just see the knuckles over the steering wheel going. And
you got Lawrence Welk on the fucking AM radio.
Walkers abound, my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go in there. I'm like, okay.
You see a walker with rims on it.
Walter's coming.
Yeah.
So, and then there was 4 self checkouts just completely open. I'm like, oh, they're waiting in line just for the person because to me, I don't think they're super difficult, but it's maybe like they're just like, yeah, no, I'd rather check out, wait, and have a person check me out and do that instead of like doing the self checkout and like, what am I doing? I have to scan and where do I put this shit?
Well, it's also I hate they never have enough cashiers. Mm-hmm. And like I've never seen like so they have like all those all the registers.
Yeah.
They're never all full.
Yeah.
So it's like some point it's like why even have all of those?
Mm-hmm.
You just have empty real estate.
Yeah.
And then they just want to force you to the self-checkout line. You should steal. Like look, just fucking fuck these. Like fuck CVS. Oh, is CVS if they don't make the same quarterly profit are they going to lose their farm?
Yeah.
Fuck CVS, dude. Steal from the companies. Steal from the big companies.
Well,
Which is, look, here's the thing. It's good to do this, but also it's funny and it's cool.
Yeah. It's cool to steal.
No, from the company. Like, small businesses don't steal from. But
and me, don't steal from me.
Yeah, don't steal from me. I'll come for you, dude. I'm coming for you, bro. I'm a man with nothing left to lose.
Yeah. CVS, everything's on lockdown. There's nothing. You can't get jack shit with having somebody unlock it for you.
Yeah, but So a couple of times I've had trouble with the checkout line because it wants you to you have to scan it and then put it there, and I'll just put it back on the cart, and then I'm like, my mind is distracted, and I'm like, and I feel like I'm Conan the Barbarian, and I'm like, what is this sorcery?
Trying to steal at the
It's a wizard.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck big companies. They're bad. Steal from them. It's funny and it's cool. And if you get nothing else from this episode,
just steal from
just
big
steal,
company.
dude, whatever.
Yeah.
Look, this country's going down, and you got to keep playing that cello as the Titanic sinks.
I need to get mine.
I wanted to say this earlier too. So, we've seen. Did you watch any of the debate or any of that shit?
Yeah, I watched some of it, and
the debate was brutal.
Yeah,
definitely. He didn't get through one question.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, look, I've seen enough.
Yeah, and then because I've watched some highlights or whatever, or lowlights, whatever. Of that, my Twitter feed is just like, oh, you want to own the libs now? Here's this TikTok or these
lib
Twitter
owner
libs being lame.
Yeah,
that's on my For You page or whatever. I'm like, no, can we get back to the ladies?
Yeah, can we get back to the big fat cartoon asses?
Yeah, can we get
that Brian usually looks at?
Do we get back to the anime boobs? Let's get to the brass tacks here.
Boobs. Yeah,
that's what I want on my feed. But then it's like, okay, you see, there's one where it's he's going on and on, like Joe Biden. And Trump's like, I don't even know what he said. I don't think he does either. And you're like, God damn.
Yeah. It's funny because Trump constantly misnames people, but just the fact that you keep talking helps smooth it over. Somebody this is funny. I got asked to do a charity event, and I haven't got back to them yet. But I've been doing this. There's this show at there's this open mic I've been doing.
Yeah,
it's called Trailer Park After Dark, and it's a little underground bar. And then they have this little faux trailer where they do the mic in.
Okay,
and it's a really fun room. It's super small. You don't need a lot of people. And you end up just because it's really rowdy crowds, you just end up doing crowd work. And the guy, he asked me, and I said I wanted to cut a couple of things out, but he just posted it, and I'm watching it, and I'm realizing when I'm doing crowd work, it isn't very polished, but I just keep talking.
Yeah,
and you just keep talking because it's if I let them, they're just gonna overpower me with their with their noise. So I just keep directing it. And as long as you just keep talking, you can stutter and whatever. But that's like Trump. Trump will make all these mistakes and shit, but he just keeps talking and smooths over it. When Biden fucks up, he gets scared and he goes, oh, and then he just trails off. And it's you can't trail off. You gotta just find a way to bring it back.
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's he does trail off. He does a fade on himself. If you're an audio,
who's Biden's recording engineer?
Yeah,
it's a fade out. They got to wash.
Yeah,
I don't know other sound terms, but I was thinking because all the political media is just mass hysteria, no matter what. Yeah. I don't want to say what side, but there's multiple sides, but they get kind of funneled into the two-party bullshit.
Yeah,
and I almost lost my train of thought, dude. I was at Biden for a second. No, they're saying we gotta stop fascism. We gotta stop fascism. Joe Biden's the only one who can stop fascism. It's you familiar with football, Brian? Football, you got what they call a goal line stand. Right there, the other team has the ball right at the 1 yard line trying to score a touchdown. You're the defense. They call it a goal line stand. And I feel when they're oh, we got to stop fascism, what they're doing with Biden is they're wheeling in Stephen Hawking to play nose tackle, to play on the D line to stop fascism.
Yeah.
And all the cheerleaders are we believe in you, Stephen. You're going to stop fascism. And it's nope, they're fucking running that. Dude, they're fucking running QB sneak.
Yeah.
Or they're running fullback trap.
Yeah.
Those are the only two football plays I know. But yeah, it's and it's getting a little hysterical. But
yeah. And then just suggested videos or things on my Twitter For You page or whatever. And it was one where he's just mistakenly naming things and just trailing off where he's I don't know if this is nobody said it yet, if it's a deep fake, but the one that I just saw yesterday is from Ukraine, President Putin.
No, that happened. That happened. He said President Putin, and then he said Vice President Trump.
I saw that.
That would be
dude.
That would be a banger ticket. I would vote for that ticket in a minute, dude.
Just the two of them teaming up.
That would be the funniest, like the odd couple.
Yeah,
but like Trump keeps trying to poison Biden. He keeps like chopping up the wrong amount of Adderall and putting it into his coffee.
Yeah,
but then like Biden keeps on like Mr. Magooing his way out of.
Yeah. Just to make a TV show out of it instead of them being.
I mean, it's basically just a TV show now. I was like, I don't think either of them would run the country. I think the country is really run by a handful of weapons manufacturers in conjunction with the deep state.
Yeah.
But not the deep state that your uncle talks about. A different deep state that is correct that I am right about.
Yeah.
Which is just the CIA. But yeah, it's getting pretty wild. And my younger brother, I hung out with them. He's in the Navy. And he's on an aircraft carrier, and I'm a little nervous. But we actually got to hang out yesterday. We went and rode jet skis.
Oh, nice.
Which was rad. And then this is funny. There's a little they'll have like no wake zones past a certain point, but there's this little like cul-de-sac over in Mission Bay, and then some people don't know like you're supposed to go like counterclockwise. You go counterclockwise around.
Yeah.
Some guy was just driving straight and back and forth.
Yeah.
And we're like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, dude. What a rube. And then me and my dad took the jet skis out, or the Sea-Doos, right? Jet skis are the ones. Jet skis are tough because like it's literally a ski that's a jet, like has a jet attached.
Sea-Doos, you sit down, right?
Sea-Doo, you just sit down, you're chilling, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Jet ski, you have to like pop up on, and then like control it, and you can fall down pretty. It's hard to ride those things.
Less fun.
Sea-Doo's just you're sitting down. You can be a big fat piece of shit.
Hell yeah.
Cruising around the bay. Me and my dad were driving around, and then we saw a beach, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go check out the girls." And I was like, "Man, isn't this a wholesome moment?"
Yeah,
just perving out with dad. I've never felt closer to you than in this very moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's like some girls on paddleboards, and I saw him like slow down the Sea-Doo a little. He's like, "Oh, I'm having some trouble with the Sea-Doo."
He adjusts his sunglasses.
Yeah. He's
like,
ladies, y'all ever been on a Sea-Doo before?
It's like a jet ski, but easier.
Yeah. But yeah, it was super fun, man. We used to ride jet skis all the time growing up.
Yeah, did your mom have one?
My mom had a power boat.
Gotcha.
And then some of the other, we had this crew, not with crew, but like my mom and her family were friends with a few people. There was like, what were they? There was like two big fat brothers, like Danny, and then like, I don't know, Danny, and then who was the other one? And they were just like the biggest, fattest alcoholics.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys ruled. Those guys. And then there was my grandma on my mom's side used to work at a bank, and then after she went to the bank, she retired and she worked for this plumber and like fixed up all his books. Like she was a great bookkeeper, and his name was Todd.
Yeah,
and Todd like all-time slob, like all-time like fucking king of the slobs, dude. Just chomping cigars, cigarettes, boozing.
Yeah.
I guess he womanized too, but I don't know how. You know, like you see this motherfucker and you're like, like you'd see him with women and you're like, what happened? Like, lady,
what did you do?
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened in your life? You got to feel better about yourself than this.
Maybe he's a great guy. Who knows?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he's a piece of shit too.
No, there was I might have recounted the story before. But so my mom had a powerboat, and all the other ones had Sea-Doos.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing jet skis, bro. Like you're 300 pounds, you're for sure not doing a jet ski. But we were riding around in Lake Powell in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's where we'd always go to. And then like we pulled up on like a little sea, was like a sea barge or whatever. Or sandbar. Little sandbar, pull up, like look at the beautiful, like the sun was going down behind like the mountains and shit like that, or like the canyon walls. And we're watching it, and I'm like pumped because I'm hanging out with the older guys, and I feel like,
were you?
I'm one of the guys.
Were you like a kid then, or teenager?
Yeah, I was like a kid.
Okay.
And one of them let me ride on the back of the jet, right? So I wasn't. They didn't give me my own Sea-Doo.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking over the steering wheel and shit. I have tassels on the Sea-Doo handles. No, and then we're watching the sunset, and we saw a turd float.
Oh yeah.
And then Todd goes, "It was me."
God damn. Just ass out, just shit in the
But
water.
like while we're just in this beauty, we're taking in nature, this beautiful scene.
Yeah.
And he had just like walked over somewhere and took a shit, and then walked back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't go to the bathroom in the water. I can't, because like when I was a little kid, I peed in the pool, and then like they made it. My mom and everyone, they shamed me for it.
Yeah.
And then whenever you go to the river, they're like, just pee in the pool, or pee in the water, Austin. I'm like, all right. So we went all this trouble to make sure I don't piss all over myself.
Yeah.
And now you want me to piss on myself?
Yeah.
Right? This is crazy. Also, apparently, a lot of people on my mom's side of the family have a problem getting drunk and pissing themselves. And I don't do that.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, I got it on lockdown, dude. There's one thing.
I think I've heard
I'm
like
fully housebroken. Dude.
Once you do that, you'll do that like more often. So it's like if you like your mind is like constantly like don't piss yourself, then you get drunk enough and it's like, piss yourself. And then it'll be like, if you get drunk, it's fine. You've done it before.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. It could be just made up bullshit, but that makes sense.
That's literally that's like some sort of a manifestation law. Like just don't say to yourself, don't do something.
Yeah.
Say to your like don't say to yourself, don't get sick.
Yeah.
Say to yourself in your brain, be healthy. Be healthy.
Yeah.
Be like right because
yeah. It's something.
I read that in The Secret. It's one of the many very intelligent books I've read.
Yeah. No, I've heard that too. It's like, okay, don't think about the color red, and then you're gonna you're gonna think about that. It's like
Brian, you got me
as
again.
opposed to like think about the color blue. It's like that's really low level.
As soon as you hear red,
yeah.
As soon as you hear red, you don't hear the don't.
You hear
you
red,
just hear red,
and then So, but I think we used to live in PB growing up, so Pacific Beach. In San Diego, and then so we'd be at the beach all the time when we were kids, and then as soon as like parents bought a house in Claremont, and it's like we just never went to the beach. I'm like I can't think about the last time I went to the beach, like even in the water or to the beach. I think like would go to PB or OB to like play a show or at a bar or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like cool. Oh, there's the ocean. I have no desire to ever go in there.
Oh, I love the ocean. I've never been like a great swimmer, but I do love the ocean. But you're not like an outdoorsy kind of guy.
Not really.
Like I like being a homebody, but like also, my family would like make me get out and do stuff. Like my dad is like a guy who can't sit still. Mm-hmm. It was sick at times. It was just kind of stressful. Like loading in jet skis and like we're always on the go. Like when I go on vacation with them. Or when I went on vacation with them, it was like, there's no time for anything. Like everything is like, every block is filled.
Yeah.
We're doing this. Then we're going to the casino. Then we got to have dinner. Then we're going to do this. And then it's like bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, all right, can we just chill? And there's some places you don't want to just like, you're in Laughlin. You're not just going to wander around Laughlin. You know, you're going to go to the casino. You're going to go to a show, probably jet skis and shit like that. If you got them.
Yeah.
But my family got me, and my grandma used to travel all the time, and I'm kind of upset because like she went all over the world, and by the time I was like old enough, like she's just done traveling. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like she went to Japan, she went to China, she went to India, she went to Russia.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't think she ever went to Africa. And maybe Latin America. It's like certain, probably Europe.
Yeah.
But her late her last husband was like wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I wish somebody, because I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Tijuana, I've been to Tecate, and we've been to Vancouver twice for like a day each.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, like touring, you really don't take in the city.
No.
'Cause you're just in the van. Okay, we got to fucking go to the next town.
Yeah.
Like, I scheduled it to where the drives weren't too bad, but there was some where I'm like, we got 10-hour drive ahead of us, boys.
Yeah, we don't have time to fuck around. I mean, also just driving, because it depends where you are too. Like driving through a lot of California is bad because it's all just like suburbs, and then like there's a stretch between LA and San Francisco that's just like dead.
Yeah.
Like it's just dirt. It's not even grass or whatever. But driving through, like you go through Nevada, Montana, Washington, Oregon, it's like beautiful landscapes.
Yeah.
So driving's not that bad there.
Yeah.
I've never really driven much through the East Coast. I imagine like driving through a lot of Texas is brutal. There's like nothing, for the most part. It's just flat, bare earth.
Yeah. And Kyle, when he's driven back and forth from San Diego to kind of Austin, Texas area a couple times after settling in and moving, but he said those drives just, and even buddy Johnny, he just went on like a I think like 3-4 week vacation driving around, that he's like, New Mexico, it sucks. It's like
New Mexico's,
and then driving through Texas is like, this is so long to get.
Because there's just not a lot. There's like not a lot of landscape in Texas, right? Like a lot of Texas kind of reminds me of Eastern California.
Yeah,
it's desert, but like Nevada is like beautiful desert. Well, once you get into the high desert, it's like beautiful. Like around Vegas is just like scorched earth. But like through Nevada and then parts of Arizona.
Yeah,
are like beautiful. Like when we went to Flagstaff. Flagstaff is like the high desert. It's dry, but it's very nice.
Yeah, no, Flagstaff was awesome.
Then Sedona rules. I went there after I had a bunch of mental health problems. My friend took me, and it's pretty sweet. We didn't really do a lot. We just kind of hiked. We like climbed on mountains, and we climbed this place, Bell Rock. And then he's like talking. There's like vortexes and shit out there, but it's like. It's a thing where it's like there is higher there's some sort of frequency that like you can measure the difference, but it's like, it is like a wellness thing. People are like, I'm absorbing the
I just
energy.
went, when you said vortex, I don't know what that is.
I also don't know what vortex is.
To me, it's like that football that has the little tail.
Yeah, it's a football. They have
Nerf vortex.
Yeah, they give you the Nerf vortex, dude.
There's a bunch of them out there.
You're on top of the mountain and you just throw it down to your friends.
Yeah.
It's a really intense game of was it Three Flags? Three Flags Up. Remember the game? You throw the football and you guys got to like fight for it.
Yeah, whoever's the one that catches it.
Yeah, which depending on who you're playing with could get very nasty.
Yeah, and then when they added the whistle on it, just
that was the vortex was the one with the whistle.
I thought they originally had it without.
Nerf is just a plush football.
Yeah.
The vortex is the one with the tail.
Yeah,
the tail, and then it has the whistle. It has like the fuck. I can't think of the word. Damn it, we're just shitting on Biden from like trailing up. But here's the thing: I'm not the fucking president.
He's like more than twice our age, and we're already like just a vortex. I don't know.
Vortex is
so you can throw it over the mountains.
Joining me is Vice President Vortex. Got a whistle. It's listen here, Jack.
Yeah. Let's go back to talking about porn on a computer.
Yeah, let's go back to porn. That's my wheelhouse. That's more knowledgeable about it. Fuck. Now I gotta look up vortex. I don't know the exact meaning, but it's like some sort of a thing that does stuff.
The smartest fucking podcast.
Dude, I mean, we're not the dumbest podcast, believe it or not. A mass of whirling fluid or air, especially a whirlpool or a whirlwind.
Okay.
So these are like an energy vortex. So instead of a mass of whirling fluid or air, it's a mass of whirling energy.
Yeah.
It sounds really dumb when I say it.
It's just a massive energy.
It's just a mass of positive vibes, man.
Yeah. Just good vibes.
They call me the energy vortex. Mm-hmm. That's my cousin, the energy vampire. We duke it out.
Yeah.
To try to create an energy equilibrium. Don't ask me what equilibrium is, Brian.
What do you mean by that?
My tiny brain is already maxed out.
Mm-hmm. But so you had a show last night.
I had a show,
and
my
then,
family came.
Yeah, and then I brought some cameras to film it and get that going, getting some clips out. For the,
I gotta get some clips.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I was like, kind of texting you. I'm like, I'm an Uber there, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to get there at 7:30. I'm like, okay, I planned it out. I'm like, okay. Uber says like 7:32, perfect. Enough time to kind of set up shit before going. Maybe check in with anybody to see where I can't set up. And then I was like texting you. I'm like, I'll be like 7:32, 7:35. I got there like it was like 25-minute ride turned into like 10. Like this Uber driver was just I was like going, I'm like, I appreciate it, but can you not kill us? He's just zooming in and out of traffic, and he's just like, the way he's driving, he's got his seat back, but he's like leaning like this, leaning forward in a Tesla, and he's just like, I'm like, fuck, bro.
And he's just like cutting in and out of people.
Yeah. And I'm like, maybe I'm just not a confident driver, but I'm like, I don't think I've ever driven that recklessly or that fast. But also I drive a truck, so it's not like I can just haul ass.
I don't know. I reel it in. I'm a little bit bipolar with my driving. Okay. Like I can go aggressively, and then sometimes I got like decent at handling cars because I used to work the valet lot.
Yeah.
I still can't drive stick. People make fun of you. I'm like, look, I did not have a lot of positive male role models in my life for a while. So
yeah, it's kind of a thing too. It's like, oh, cool, I could drive stick.
Cool. Let me get into my fucking time machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, it was Kyle.
I also don't know how to operate a cotton gin.
Yeah. Kyle bought a truck that was manual transmission, and he didn't know how to drive it. He's like, I'll figure it out.
Did Kyle figure it out?
I think his little brother taught him how to do it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm like, that's would be kind of a cool, like.
It's embarrassing. My little brother is like a car guy. He's my little half brother. So we didn't really grow up together.
Yeah.
And he's he's a helicopter mechanic.
Yeah.
And it is like, he's like looking, the jet ski died, and he's like, looking in under the hood, and I'm just like, my dad's helping him, and I'm just like coming in and like, yeah, what's going on, fellas? Yeah. I'm helping. I'm a big part of this too.
Hold this flashlight, Austin.
Yeah. I could hold a flashlight like a motherfucker.
Yeah, for as much as like my dad is a car guy too. He's also like very much like, I'll fix it. Like, there's a washing machine my dad bought like 20 years ago. So to buy a new one, he's like, I'm gonna tear it all the fucking apart and then replace it. And it's like, so, which is, I mean, good, not to just like throw away culture. I get it. And trying to, instill that like on me kind of. I'm like, because a lot of times it just fucking throw it away, get a new one, because it's easier to do that.
Well, with electronics especially, like they're planned obsolescence, but some of those things you can fix up, but at some point it's just like it's a sunken cost.
Yeah, and I almost got none of that from my dad. Like I'm not handy, like being able to fix anything, or my car, the headlight went out, and I'm like, I can't fucking fix this.
I can show you. I think I used to be able to do it. I have a hybrid now, so they make it so you basically can't. It's very hard to work on your car.
Yeah.
But I could probably take a look at it. I have a little some torque wrenches. No, I used to do it. I was so proud when my cousin taught me how to like change the lamps in my old Chevy Malibu.
Yeah,
and it was just like it's actually incredibly easy.
Well, I've able to do the tail lights, no problem. But the headlights, it was a real fucking bitch. I even like Googled it and like watched like a YouTube video and stuff like that. And of course, like I've talked about like the YouTube videos where it's like, here's 8 fucking minutes of dialogue and the storytelling, but before you get to like the actual 30 seconds I want to see.
We have to set up the lore of the world. we have to set up the backstory and the motivations of the headlight.
Here's why my wife left me. Now let's change the headlight.
The guy's just talking about his childhood trauma.
I want to set up my YouTube channel, and then that's why she left me. It's like, yeah, because your videos are excessively long.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and even like got to a point like I couldn't do it, and then like I'd have my dad help me, and then so I knew I'm like, my father's son, because I was just like, God fucking piece of shit. I'm like, what the fuck, the clip or whatever. It's like, this God, I'm like, it wouldn't go. I couldn't get it out. You had to like have 3 fucking hands that are like half the size of mine to do this goddamn thing. Anyways, and then like I'm like, okay, Dad, I need your help. And I'm like, the 35-year-old man, he had to help, and I had to ask my dad, and then he goes and helps me. He's like, okay. And he sees what it is, and he's trying to do it. He's like, this goddamn fucking piece of shit. And we're like in the driveway, just both yelling. I was like, oh no, I break down just like my dad does.
Oh yeah. My dad was what?
The way he curses too.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes he'll get pissed, and like it just the things that he says. I'm like, God damn, that's pretty. He's like, you cocksucking, cunt looking piece of shit. I'm like, so the cocksucker and a cunt. Like, shut up. He's like,
damn, it's sucking. Is it also licking ass too?
That's a step too far.
It's just hitting all the bases.
You ass eating light. This light
you toe sucking, ass eating.
He's just like
clit flicking.
So he does. I'm like,
nipple biting.
Yeah.
I cuss pretty crazy. Yeah. I don't know where I got it from. Well, my grandma on my mom's side loves to cuss. Yeah. She loved to cuss. R.I.P. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I learned from her is how to say the most nasty shit possible. But when I was a kid, I would just repeat the things they said, and I would like get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And then I'd see it later, like my brother and his girlfriend's son, like not his son, but his girlfriend's son, were walking down to Circle K, and my brother just has no filter in front of the kid. Like I'll try to stop myself, but you know, sometimes it just comes out. My brother's no filter and just saying that, yeah, fucking shit, dude. Oh, but it's because you're gay, you sucking dicks. And then the kid says something like, fuck you. And then my brother took his tennis ball and like threw it. Yeah. He's like, don't talk like that. And I was like, dude, he's just trying to impress you.
Yeah.
He literally heard everything you said. Yeah. I remember I tried to stand up for so when I was growing up, my best friend was my cousin Delise, and her older sister was just really mean to her, from what I remember. Yeah. Also, probably not much worse than any like older sister, younger sister, sibling shit. But she made Delise cry, and dude, I love Delise so much, dude. I was so mad, and I was like, I think I said like "fuck you, bitch" or something like that.
Little kids say that.
I didn't know any better because I would just hear the adults would just cut, like they would talk, they would like say them, and like my family, they were like very
like for
like,
you as a
flippant.
Kid, that whole phrase "fuck you, bitch" is just one thing.
I don't think I said bitch. Yeah. Maybe I did, and then she just like open palm punched me in the face. And I was like crying, and then her dad or my uncle was like, "Yeah, he deserves it." And I was like, "Fuck you too." And I was like, "Bitch."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just standing up for my cousin, right? Against my other cousin that none of us liked that much.
Yeah.
None of us did. None of us really liked her, Brian.
Brian. She sucked,
dude.
Let me know. This person you don't know sucks.
Yeah, Brian, you got to be on my side here when I tell this story.
Oh yeah, she sucked. Hell yeah.
As a kid, I would just cut. I like to say, and you know, part of my blasphemy, I would say "God fucking damn it" a lot.
Yeah, no, that's
such a great. I don't know why it hits.
Because add in the fucking in between. I'm a big goddamn guy, and some people take offense to that, like because it's blasphemous.
But it's just an absurd obscenity. It literally is like that doesn't mean anything.
Like
you're literally, because when you say "God damn it," it's supposed to be "God damn it," but you don't think that when you say it. It's literally just like a lot of words don't. Like a lot of phrases don't really make sense when you break them down. You just use them however they're used.
I know it's not correct, but I think about it as the Blink-182, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. Like that's the phrase.
Yeah.
Instead of like DAMN space IT.
Yeah, it's just DAMMIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Damn it. Damn it. Because damn it's not even that bad of a word.
Yeah.
It really, like, damn is not. And then, but you put God in there, and it gets a little dicey.
Yeah, then God.
And then you say God, and then you're hitting all the spots.
Yeah,
you're hitting everything.
That's good.
I was talking to a female comedian who I deeply respect.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really like. We were talking, and she's like younger, and she's like,
Yeah.
She's, bisexual.
Yeah.
But she was saying, like, her favorite thing is saying dumb bitch. And I was like, it is, right? Like, that's a really fun, because it's like,
dumb bitch.
Because people will hear that and be like, you hate women, but it's just, the words go together.
Oh, yeah.
They just go together very well.
Yeah.
Because it's the dumb, and then there's B at the end of dumb, and then it just goes dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it just works together. Like, God damn it, is just one thing. It's two words that become one word.
Yeah.
And dumb bitch is just like that. It doesn't even have to be misogynistic. It's just, you call anyone a dumb bitch.
I think I was like talking to my mom, and I was just complaining about work because I at the time years ago I had like a new manager, and I'm like, man, and then just getting a ration of shit, which is also a new one that I started liking to say, getting a ration of shit. Like, you're served, here's your daily ration of shit. Anyways,
That's disgusting.
And then
I'm deeply offended by that.
that one sucked. But I was like talking and complaining, and she's like, man, Sue manager, and my mom said this, is she like a bitch or is she a dumb bitch? And I'm like, and it's serious. Like, she's like asking, like inquiring, and I'm like, thought about it, both. And she's like, oh, that's the worst. She's like, in earnest, she knows people who are bitches who are also dumb bitches. So my mom, she's like, oh, I know that type of person.
This is a fun thing to say to somebody, like, you dumb bitch. Do you like throw some head waddles in it?
In earnest,
head wiggles?
Like, that's the actual question. Is she a dumb bitch or a bitch? I'm like, both. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
It is funny, like, what cuss words.
Yeah.
Because it is also a personal thing. I remember I had a friend who at he had a bad upbringing. Like, his parents were drug addicts. They died. They died early. He was homeless for a while, and we could literally say anything we wanted to him. But if you called him a low life, that was what set him off.
Okay.
You could call him any other word.
Yeah.
You could say every word to him. He would say every word. But if you called him a low life, that is what set him off.
Yeah.
Because it is so. And then you got, like, my friend is Australian. And it's okay. I'm gonna be Australian for a minute. Cunt is not bad. Like, it's so common. It's such a non-offensive thing.
Like,
and then here, it's just like the worst thing you can say.
I think with, like, it's starting to catch on here. Like,
yeah, and I'm all for it.
Not being as, like, offensive.
Because I remember.
I'd say 10 years ago, it was like I've almost never heard it.
Well, I remember because I knew the word. But it wasn't really that bad because it was so uncommon. It was so uncommon, and then somebody decided that that's like the N word for women. And it's like, yeah, but it's not just for women. Like, it's a word you just fucking hit anyone with.
Yeah.
And it got really bad, and then now everyone could just say everything apparently.
Yeah. I think, like, and then, but it's like over in UK, like, wanker is like really like, whoa.
Wanker is really bad?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a thing they say all the time.
Because I had a coworker, this might be just greatest hits. I probably already said this. I was going, and I was just like, instead of, just a somewhat inoffensive, like, oh, he's just being and I thought it was funny, like 50 Cent, he's just being a wankster. And, like, instead of a gangster, you're a wankster. Yeah. And then, like, the guy's like, oh my God. What did you say?
Oh, blimey.
Oh, me bullocks.
Oh, bullocks. I'm going to call Boris Johnson about this.
And I was like,
I'm going to call Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
Have you investigated?
I didn't know that was like, because it's kind of like a take on wanker. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because a wank is like a beaten off, right?
Yeah, well, and then also in England, I learned this from the Shaun of the Dead movie, because they have a few other ones. Jog on is jog on. It's like fuck off. Like that's their middle finger. Jog on, then and it's like it's such a whimsical language.
Yeah, that's funny.
Also, I know I've talked about this so much. I love the names of British politicians. They are so funny.
Yeah,
Keir Starmer. Boris Johnson.
Boris
Rishi Sunak. Suella Braverman. And it's like these are like fairy tale names.
Yeah.
That's not a name of a real guy. You guys are doing a prank on us.
Yeah.
There's no way that's a real person's name, dude.
I think with like some more British media or whatever coming over here more, I don't know. I've just noticed that cunt is like a lot more now. Even people who aren't British.
I think it's just Carl Urban on The Boys,
The Boys.
saying cunt all the time.
Don't be a cunt.
Dude, Carl Urban rules.
Yeah.
That show is so much. I'm not loving the last season so much, but Carl Urban and Anthony Starr are like real. I mean, Carl Urban's always been dope. He was
Dread.
in Dredd.
Yeah. Fucking
Dude, he's
awesome.
so good. Because, like, the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd is just a Stallone movie.
Yeah.
But, like, Carl Urban is judged, like, he's Dredd. Like,
That is such a good fucking movie.
it's great, dude, because it's like a siege movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've talked about this before, but siege movies are one of my favorite genres. Like, it's not an official genre, but, like, any movie where they're like, holed up somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of zombie movies are siege movies.
Yeah.
A lot of cowboy movies are like siege. I mean, The Alamo is in essence, you know, any movie about the Alamo is a siege movie. But it's such a fun, I don't know, it's such a fun genre because it's like the whole thing is like, you know, like the last gunfight in a Western. The entire movie is that.
Yeah.
The entire movie is the fucking showdown.
Yeah.
But it's just drawn, and the tension builds, and it's drawn out.
Yeah.
Like Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead is such a good. It's a siege film. They're sieged in a mall, and it's like something, you know, it's a commentary on consumerism and shit like that. But it's such a good movie. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, here's President Putin
From the Ukraine.
Yeah, from the Ukraine. Here's President Gandhi from the United Kingdom. Or I guess it'd be President Churchill of India.
Yeah. I just just to like just fuck it up that much.
Yeah. We got President Hitler of Poland is here.
Yeah.
Here's President Hirohito of China.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get that one, did you, Brian?
No.
You're fucking so racist, dude. I'm gonna cancel you, dude. Hirohito was the emperor of Japan.
Okay.
During World War II, they invaded China.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good what they did
Yeah.
to the Chinese. So we're trying to work on our Chinese.
Nanking, right? It was
It's we call it Nanking, but I think it might be Nanjing. It's one of those things where like yin and yang is actually yin and yang, but it's like I don't want to say that because it's really annoying.
and it's not. It's yin and yang, not yin and yang.
No, the yin yang twins are a different.
Because I remember always saying that like younger, and then somebody said as yin. I'm like,
Well, it's yin and actually yang.
okay.
So
Say
if
it
somebody
right.
corrects you, be like, actually. No, I learned that I had a religion teacher, and it wasn't like Sunday school. It was like in community college.
Yeah.
And it was I took world religions, and his wife was from China. And so, you know, I'm going to defer to the expert here.
Yeah.
Yin and yang. But also, I'm not going to correct you because it's,
Yeah.
oh, soccer. Oh, you mean football? Oh, you mean you mean Tony Blair?
Footy.
Oh, you mean Lord Mountbatten? That's another guy. I forget who he is exactly, but
Yeah. But we're at about an hour. You bring it in.
shit. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about?
We got the Hawk Tour girl. We got
Got Hawk to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Topics. Oh, I want to talk about. I saw a movie, Maxine, Max Triple X Een,
Nice.
horror movie. Oh, you never seen any of the movies?
No.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's the third in a trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
The first one is X. So in X, they're shooting a porn and they're doing it on like some old couples, you know, like out in the middle of the boonies, their rural property, and they're shooting the porn. They only ever talk to the husband. It turns out the wife is kind of like an insane nymphomaniac, but she's like 80 years old, and she gets jealous watching them have sex.
Yeah.
And she tries to have sex with them, and then she goes on a killing spree when they won't have sex with her. And Mia Goth is the actress. She plays the character Maxine. She also plays the character of the older woman, Pearl.
Okay.
She's great in it. Then the second one is Pearl. It's like a backstory of the older woman, you know, the crazed nymphomaniac. It's like her origin story.
Yeah.
She's also great in that. And then this one is like the third installment is about Maxine, who's the main character from X, and her kind of going on her way. I like the movie a lot. I don't know. There seemed to kind of be the obvious message of the movie I didn't care for, which is basically that like it kind of felt like Hollywood is good. Was kind of what they were getting at. And I was like, I don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, self-realization is important, but I don't know if Hollywood is good. Very. X wasn't too bad. Pearl wasn't too gory. A few scenes in Maxine are like a little much for me.
It's crazy. I've never, I mean, not that I have my, ear to the pulse or hand on the pulse. Anyways, but I'm like, I've never heard of any of these movies. I don't know,
movies now are kind of niche, and especially horror movies are very niche. But they do have horror movies have a rabid following. I like horror movies, but every time I look at horror movie shit, sometimes there's just the gore porn, which I really don't care for.
Okay.
There's some shit it's just intentionally, like there's a few, I forget what they're called. They might be called guinea pig or something, but they're these incredibly grotesque graphic movies made like horror movies in Japan.
Okay.
But it's like all body horror. I'm like, I don't really like that. I like a story.
Yeah.
And if it's scary, it's cool. I don't need to see I don't like gross out shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maxine was good. If you like horror movies, I think you'll like it. If you like the other two, you'll like it. And so I just wanted to give that update.
Yeah.
Do a quick plug. And Mia Goth is the actress. She doesn't have eyebrows.
Okay.
She has like very faint eyebrows, but she's very like strangely attractive, almost in a way that like I feel like if she seduced me, it would be like a horror movie. Like she would seduce me so she could like murder me or something. So if she also probably wouldn't seduce me. But it would also
she could try.
It'd be the back of a joke. She could give it a. That's the thing I'm gonna do now. Whenever I see a beautiful woman in a movie, it's my Sydney Sweeney treatment. I'm like, she's okay. She's all right. Everyone's like, what do you mean? I'm like, she's fine. And she goes, ooh, this guy.
That's good.
All right, let's bring it in for a landing. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to the episode. You can follow me on Instagram. I do have some shows coming up. I'll post more on my Instagram about upcoming shows around San Diego area. Might be coming to Seattle and potentially Milwaukee in August. I'll make some updates if you guys want to come through. Hit me, DM me, and I'll post the calendar. God, I've caught the Biden, dude. I've caught the Biden. It's because of the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so you can follow me on Instagram and the artist formerly known as Twitter. You can follow Brian as he walks Commander Biden around the White House and continues to get bitten.
There you go. But also, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube now.
So if you're an audio listener, you can watch the podcast too.
We have a great episode with James Schrader, my good friend, who's from the Dr. Squatch commercials. And we have an upcoming one with Shar.
Yeah, that one
it's coming
might be coming out after this one. But anyway,
we had to make a lot of edits. Shar is very funny, but Shar kept on making aggressively sexual comments about my body.
Yeah.
And it made me very uncomfortable. And I said, Shar, I thought we were friends. Please. She's like, shut up, you fucking loser. Bring that sweet ass over here.
You're gonna want me to cut this out, huh?
No, leave this in.
All right.
But we had to make some edits, so it's gonna be a while, but it's a great episode, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Bye.